The world doesn't need another podcast. The world doesn't need another album. The world doesn't need another book. I hear versions of this all the time. And look, I get it. There is so much creative work being brought into the world every day. On one hand, there is an oversupply. But in this video, I want to talk about why the world absolutely does need your next podcast or album or book. And I'll cover one thing you can do to make sure you're making the sort of stuff that people aren't talking about when they say, we've got enough of this already. I think about this pretty often. Half the time I have an idea, there's a voice that shows up instantly and goes, that's already being done, Steve. Or maybe this is garbage, maybe this is just adding more noise into the dumpster fire of noise. And it's not just for content like this video. Some version of this voice has shown up for me across the last 20 years or so of me trying to work out how to be a creative person, which I'm still figuring out, mind you. It shows up over individual posts where I'm like, if I put that out, people are gonna think I'm an idiot. Or it shows up in song ideas. If I write that lead line, it's going to sound amateur. It showed up for like 3 or 4 video ideas I had before this one, and I just kept moving until I found this perhaps super meta video idea. So here we are. That voice that says, do you suck a little bit? I think that bothers every creative person, if I'm honest, and I think deep down that's kind of the reason why there are people out there who proclaim that we don't need more creative stuff. Because there's a voice telling them that their creative stuff sucks. They've already decided they're not going to do it, so they're annoyed when somebody else goes and does it anyway. Before we turn the volume down on that voice, I do think there's an upside to it in small doses. There's a lot of talk on the internet right now about how humans have taste and AI doesn't. And I love that because I think it's pretty true. We go through the process of practice and developing our taste, and over time we improve our critical voice. That part of ourselves that critiques our work should, in theory, help us keep striving to make better work. It should ring the alarm bell when we're cutting corners, when we're trying to optimize for attention instead of quality. That voice becomes a useful guardrail. But sometimes it stops us from starting. And when other people who hold some kind of positional authority say it, it can be way more dangerous when they broadcast that we don't need more creative work. So let's look at the actual saturation argument, because I think people are drawing the wrong conclusion from what may seem like a factual observation. Yes, there is an oversupply of creative work in the world. Factually, that's true. There is an insane amount of content uploaded to every platform every day, more than is consumable by the people on the planet. And of course, not everyone is going to be able to make a career from their creative output. But I'm here to make the case that there is an undersupply of high quality, human-made creative work, of new work with meaning. And that's never gonna change. By high quality, I don't just mean polish. There's a lot of subjectively average work that also happens to be the most polished, most famous stuff out there. Polish and popularity aren't what I'm necessarily talking about when I say high quality. By high quality, I mean work that's been crafted by a human over time with hard-won skills. I'm talking about your creative work, because the oversupply of average work is only going to increase. So more than ever, maybe we need to work slower. Maybe we need to find ways to check back in with the roots of our creativity. Putting the effort in, the energy in over a long period of time is actually the whole game. The whole point of being an artist if you want a lifelong career. But you already know this, so why am I making this video? I think it's unfair that this question is asked of creatives when we don't ask the same question when there's an oversupply in other industries. You rarely hear someone say the world doesn't need another investment banker or the world doesn't need another oil rig. We don't stop people and say, no, we've got enough of those, how about you don't do it? But for some reason in the creative industries, we say, there are too many creative people bringing joy and storytelling to the world, so how about you all stop? If I had to choose a future world where everybody was an investment banker or if everybody was an artist, I'm choosing the creative world every time. No offense to any good-hearted creative investment bankers, watching this video. I just think anybody who wants to have a career as a creative person should have a chance to have a career as a creative person. And I think the people who are willing to do the really hard work that it requires, to wrestle with ideas and upskill and fight against self-doubt and to create an obscurity for as long as it takes, I think those of us willing to do that, well, sometimes we need a reminder that our work matters and that we should keep going. And this video is that reminder. The voice in your head can make your work better, but if it's more likely someone else's internal monologue that told them to stop, there's no reason that same internal monologue needs to bother you. Sometimes it pays to calmly ask that thought to leave you alone so that you can keep moving forward with your creative work. So no, I don't think there's an oversupply of creative work, but I do think there's an undersupply of creative people who are willing to keep pushing their abilities to the next level over and over again. I do think we sometimes give up too easily. The noise of the world doesn't help, but ultimately our careers start and end with us, our determination, and our persistence. So is there a clear solution to any of this? Well, I think it comes down to intention. What are you making and why? What world are you building for others through your creative work? What experiences are you creating to share your stories with all of us? If I was to think of an analogy to describe this, maybe it's like a video game where you're at the beginning with an unexplored map surrounding you. Very Age of Empires. The world is there, but you can't see it. And the only way to figure out the objective is to walk around, start to explore, uncover sections of the map. I think our creative journey is very much like that. You have a sense of, I've got to go over here, but you don't really know how big the map is in each direction. And the only way to uncover parts of it is to chip away over time. Each time you chip away, you find something else that informs your creativity. And over time, more and more of this revealing of the terrain helps you see the things that don't matter to you and the things that do. All of this over time helps you to create with more intention. We meet people on this creative journey. We get feedback and data. Some of it we listen to, some of it we don't. But we have to uncover all of these things ourselves to get feedback from the world, to work out what to do next. Again, helping us create with more intention. The error I see is that too many creative people uncover a bit of the map, realize it's difficult, hear a voice from someone else saying there's already too many podcasts, for example, and then stay in this tiny little bit of their map because it's safer there. They set out with determination at the beginning, but got just enough negative feedback to stop moving. Sometimes from their own voice, sometimes taking on board others. I've been this person many times over, and I don't wish it on any other creative people. The only way to really uncover the map is to make stuff with intention, to make things that are interesting to you, to combine those with other creative projects, to find other people to make with. Even when someone rocks up and says, "We don't need your stuff," you've got to go anyway. And here's the other thing I keep coming back to. Creativity is not a race. A lot of the systems are set up to make you think it is, but they're not set up that way because it's true. The platforms we spend our time on, the ones we think we depend on to get our creative work out there, they are seeking advertising revenue so that their shareholders can make money. So they reward fast food style creativity with attention. That's why it feels like a race, because they are in a race to extract more money from human attention before another platform does first. So these platforms feel more competitive, which in turn incentivizes more fast food creativity. If you don't create now, it's game over. When you think about it like that, everything just points back to coming back to where you are on the map and going, well, I don't need to play that game. So what's my next project that I can make that means something to me that I can create with intention? If you want an example of this, I actually quit social media mostly for about 7 years, and I missed a whole bunch of bandwagons. I was starting to get some traction with my last brand just as TikTok was taking off, but I was too burnt out to do anything on that. So I missed that boat. Have I minded about that in the past? Yes, absolutely. Do I mind right now? Not one bit, because there will always be another opportunity to create and share things with the world. And usually it's going to pan out better if you're doing it when it comes from a place of intention. I was never doing any of this to be famous on TikTok, so why would I be worried about missing a TikTok bandwagon? No, I'm doing this because I really genuinely care about independent creative work and independent creative people. People making things that matter to them and then share them with us, and then we get to experience awesome stuff that's just made by other creative people. It's those sorts of experiences that I've always enjoyed working on the most. It's always those experiences that made me want to work in the arts sector in the first place. It's those experiences that always reignite my own fire and therefore intention. To sum this all up, I have a hunch that this is the secret of all the artists that have these lifelong careers. They keep creating regardless of that voice and regardless of the noise. The world might say we don't need your creativity anymore, but that's just someone else's story. The artists that really make a difference keep creating regardless. And we know that the best creative work only appears because people are determined to keep making better work over a long period of time. So keep making your work. Keep trying to uncover that map. Share your work with the world, knowing what it's for and why it's entering the world, knowing that the big picture is always making better work. If you're always doing that, you are slowly but surely contributing to the undersupply of high quality, awesome, creative, independent, made by human work that people need now and are going to need way more in the future, not less. This entire video is just to say this. Pause when that voice is tempting you to take shortcuts, but ignore the noise that's telling you to stop. And if any of this resonated with you and you're wondering how to actually keep momentum on your creative work, I've got another video where I talk about the two projects that you should have running and why having one of each might be the simplest way to not get pulled into the rat race of promotion. You might like to check that one out next.